Have you seen those monolith things that are just appearing out of nowhere?
In the Utah desert?
So there's the one that was found in the Utah desert, right?
Yes.
Then that thing just disappeared.
Disappeared.
Nobody has any idea where it is.
Nobody saw it arrive and nobody saw it leave.
Then one appeared on the top of Pine Mountain in Atascadero, California.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then I believe another one appeared in Las Vegas.
Did they all look the same? Like that straight cylinder, like rectangle? Not cylinder, that straight rectangle that was...
Right. I would say, it looks like it's 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
About a foot to 2 feet wide, and it's mirrored on either side. And it stands up perfectly straight. And there's no footprints around it. There's no like tractor tracks. It just exists wherever this thing was placed, right? What do you think it is?
I think it's a really clever group of artists.
See, I'm willing to concede that there's an element of art in it too. And by the way, I think it also popped up in like Romania or something like that. I thought that there was one in France, but I can't find anything. So I think it exists in Utah, it exists in California, and it exists in Romania. I swear,
Nevada, you said Vegas.
I swear I thought it said Vegas, but I could be wrong about that. That might have been a copycat.
We don't want
No, it did. It absolutely showed up. So it has 4
Okay.
places. Okay. 3 in the United States, 1 in Romania. Take that for what it is.
Yeah.
You think it's a unique, viral artistry
Yeah.
exhibit.
I mean, if I were to guess, I guess I could also say, is it Area 51? Is it called 51? Area 51?
The place in Nevada where
Yeah.
they do the aliens?
Yeah, where the aliens are.
I don't know that Area 51 brings out information, let
Yeah,
alone
I don't
does
know.
weird artist installations.
So, we're assuming it's an artist installation.
Well, you're assuming it because I don't think it is.
Oh, what do you think it is?
I think it's some big corporate meant to be viral reveal at some point.
You think it's like, what was it? Oh, the Orange Square Fire.
Yeah,
You think it's something like that, FYRE.
the Fire Fest stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. Although they just used an orange tile on Instagram, I think because do you know what a jewel is? Like the not smoking thing that just looks like a little
Oh, is it a
rectangular
vape thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The vape, duh. Because they look like that.
Right. They're tall. This is how it looks to me, like it would look. If I'm looking at it from the top down,
Yeah.
I think it would be a square. If I'm looking at it from the front or one of the sides, I think it's a rectangle.
I think it's thinner than that.
Oh, is it?
I don't think it's perfectly square. I think
Okay.
I think it is more rectangular from the top. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen one. If you've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, right?
Yes.
You remember how that opens?
Yeah.
And the thing comes down from the
Yeah.
sky and the monkeys all surround it. That's literally what it looks like.
Yeah.
So even as I say that, I think to myself, oh, we're going to get like 2002: A Space Odyssey or something like that,
Oh.
right?
So you think it's a marketing, I'm going to say gimmick. but,
Totally.
A marketing gimmick of things to come.
I don't trust that this is just happenstance, that somebody's like, I'm going to, with my fellow friends in Utah, California, Vegas, and Romania. Again, Romania feels like the outlier in that it could
Yeah.
have just been copycatted. That I'm just going to do this without an ulterior motive, without a payoff, without something coming from it.
But maybe they're getting the payoff right now. The
How?
attention.
How is it But what attention for what?
I don't know. Artists are one group that don't necessarily have to monetize everything.
So you think that the proverbial they,
Yes.
the no-face they,
The really creative minds. Yep.
are sitting in their Soho lofts,
Yep.
rubbing their hands together, saying, we have them all guessing,
Yep.
and this to us is the essence of art.
And eventually we'll be in the Modern Museum of Art. And our names will be known, and we'll make our payday then.
See, I want to believe that. Yours is far more pure than my thought,
Oh,
which is,
I go to the pure.
yeah, mine is
Yeah.
like capitalism, where I just don't trust anything anymore. If I see a viral video, I think either that was planned for some eventuality,
Right.
or it's going to be commoditized immediately. Shout out your guy, Dogface. But
yeah, he's kind of run his course, isn't he? Yeah.
But I really struggle to believe that it's just art for art's sake. But I don't spend a lot of my time thinking about the monolith, but now that it's disappearing and reappearing in other places, I can't help but think that there's some eventuality, some big payoff coming in. It would be awesome if it was aliens.
So how valid do we think the Romanian was? Like, do you know the dateline, the time sequence of them all?
I don't know the time sequence. If I go to indiatimes.com.
Well, there you go.
It says, who's keeping count? A fourth monolith appears in Pittsburgh and a fifth in Vegas. So here we go. So clearly I only had about half of the game plan here. The first one was in Utah, then it was in Romania. Then there was a third one in California. Then the fourth one appeared in Pittsburgh. And now we have the fifth one in Las Vegas.
So here's the thing about Romania. It's in the COVID timeline, correct?
Yeah, I mean, this I think this has only been going on for a month.
I'm just thinking like that's maybe an associated group or a copycat, but of different people. I don't think that Americans could get into Romania today unless Romanians came over here somehow and got in and did it.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's either a Romanian satellite artist co-op or it's somebody who said, well, this isn't hard to make. We can make this and we can kind of
let's
hijack
piggyback
that
on it and keep it going.
Or maybe this is the idea that people just say, we're going to instigate conversations in a time where people need personal interaction more than anything. Let's just put a weird shaped monolith in random places. And if they are inherently random, meaning there is no thought process behind them, it's just like, hey, let's go to the Utah desert. Hey, let's go to Pittsburgh.
Because we're talking about it.
Then we talk about it. But I still don't think that there's that level of selflessness.
The thing about the first one I saw was the Utah desert. Was that the first one you saw?
I think that was the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So I thought it was copper when I first saw it.
Because of the reflection?
Well, it was because of the reflection.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so it really is a unique idea because it just blends in to its surroundings, right? So perfectly. I mean, I literally thought they had built it out of copper. And then later, read an article and realized, it's a reflection. So, I mean, that takes some creativity, but it doesn't have to, I mean, I don't know, marketing people have artistic minds.
True.
I'm going to go with the artist colony. That's what I'm doing.
I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong, but I really hope it is aliens. That you're kind of right with your Area 51 thing. One crept out, made it to Utah, was able to find a hidden bunker of communications, released the monolith, that alerted his or her friends in a nearby solar system. They then were able to continue on to Romania.
Was Romania second?
That one I don't know about. Let's just set that to the side because it blows a lot of holes into my
You've
theory.
got to be careful with your story, right?
And then he kept going to Utah, found the other, or kept going to California, found the other one, popped that thing up, doubled back to Vegas, popped that thing up. Pittsburgh, I don't know, maybe he can fly. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't think that's going to be happening.
I don't think that's it. But, I mean, that's a great story, Kev.
Thank you.
You should write like a piece of fiction with that. It could be a movie.
I'm the one that created the monoliths.
Oh, Kevin, I would be completely impressed.
Seeing as you see me every day.
Seeing as I see you every day. Because then I might have to say like, you're the alien. And then that would explain everything I've ever wanted to know.
What if you gave birth to an alien?
Yeah, that would be creepy and weird, wouldn't it?
This is a weird way to start the show. Let's go.
Welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. One is a Harvard Business School alum. The other is her son, discussing business, pop culture, family, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Deb and Kev.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Monday episode of the Deb and Kev Pod. The woman sitting across from me who thought it was 4 p.m. today when it was actually only 3 p.m. is my mom, Deb.
I'm Deb.
And I'm the guy who just let her believe that and allowed her to eventually connect the dots. I am Kev, and this is our podcast. Before we start anything, it is story time for you. If you thought you were only going to get one story about a woman barrel rolling out of a car, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to qualify this as other than coincidence or serendipitous. You saw a woman barrel roll out of a car this week.
I saw a woman barrel roll out of a car, though I do think the difference between she and I.
Well, let me set this. Give you the setting really quick. So you and I had been running errands all day, I think on Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
And I needed to go pick up my car. We went and got gas for you. You dropped me off at my car and you said, hey, I'm going to go to the dollar store really quick, which is about, 3 minutes from where we were. I felt like it was taking you a really long time to get home. I didn't message you or anything, but I thought like the dollar store was like, 5 or 10 minutes away from here. She should be here by now because I knew you were going for one thing.
By the way, I didn't buy anything at the dollar store.
Even worse.
Yeah.
And then I get a text message from you which says, hey, I just witnessed a girl get pushed out of her car. I'm here waiting for the cops.
Yep.
Please pick up the story.
So I'm coming out of the dollar store and there's like it's a strip mall area, but there's space between the actual dollar store and where the next strip of shops start.
Yeah, just a little.
Kind of like a little alley.
Yeah, exactly. But wide enough for like 3 cars to fit through.
And people go through it all the time.
Yep.
People drive down it all the time. It's not like a creepy alley or anything like that.
I mean, it could be at night.
Well, it kind of was at this point.
Right.
So there's a woman actually standing in front of me in the alley. And she's looking down the alley. And then I come and I'm at the curb. And I look down the alley just in time to see a girl roll out of a car and the car speed away. Now,
Did she like slam into the side of the building?
Curb.
Got it.
She was down a little bit further.
Yep.
So she slammed into a curb. And this woman and I looked at each other like, did we just see that?
And you're like, don't worry. I have firsthand experience with this. I got it.
I know what to do. Is there a cop nearby? So the woman saw more of it than I did.
Got it.
Because I think she really got a glimpse of the whole car, which I didn't because the car was turning. I mean, I saw it was a dark car. That's all I saw. The girl screaming, bumps into the curb, is laying there like she can't get up. But both the woman and I think, had the exact same feeling, like we're not going to walk down there. It just felt really...
volatile?
It felt like it could have been a hoax, a little bit.
Did you see a monolith?
Did not see a monolith.
Got it.
But all I could think is, I'm going to get down there. There's nowhere to go because that back part is kind of like an alley.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep.
And
you're going to get jumped by 2 people waiting behind a dumpster.
Exactly.
Got it.
And it was very close to a dumpster.
Side note, how terrible is that? That we see something so tragic and we're like, how am I going to get screwed over here?
Exactly. No. And I felt that in the moment too, like, oh my God. So the girl like kind of rolled and limped herself over to sit on a curb and she was sobbing and screaming. And I said, give us
the characteristics of this girl. Paint a picture.
20-something, darling, reddish brown hair, thin. I mean, cute girl. Cute girl.
Early 20s?
Early 20s.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, dressed really casual, not dressed up or anything.
Did I date her in high school?
No.
Okay.
This girl you did not date.
Got it.
But anyways, she was, she didn't look like a little homeless person or anything like that, you know? Not that I would have helped a homeless person too.
Of course, we are equal opportunist helpers here if you get pushed out of a car.
I just didn't want to walk down to the alley because I didn't see where the guy went.
Got it.
So I say, do you want me to call the police? Do you need me to call an ambulance?
Did you like pull up next to her and roll your window down?
Nope, I'm standing. I'm out there.
Oh, got it.
If I'd been in my car, I would have done that.
Got it.
Right? So she says, yes, please call the police. So the woman looks at me and goes, good luck, and walks away. Like the woman who actually saw the whole thing.
I saw the car you got out of, lady. Bye.
Yeah, she's gone. So, and that woman said, he pushed her out of the car. I mean, that's the word she said to me.
Got it.
Right? So I call the police and I say, I'm here, told them where I was, got this girl. She says she was pushed out of the car. Another person saw it, said she was pushed out of the car, blah, blah, blah. They said, we'll send the police. So at that point now, she's come and she's walked down the length of the store, limping the whole way, and she's sitting on the curb by me.
Any abrasions that you can see?
No, but she was clearly like rattled. I mean, super rattled.
She got pushed out of a car.
She got pushed out of a car, and he took off with her children in the car.
Got it.
So that was even her bigger
Physical
issue.
trauma, emotional trauma.
So I said, and I told the police that, and it turns out one of the children is his, but one of them is not. And, she's just telling me, I've been putting up with this for 3 years. I've been knocked around. I've been screamed at. She kind of goes, and, she's pulls out a pack of cigarettes and she holds them up to me. And she said, I quit smoking for 6 years and now I'm smoking again. And I might have said something like, oh, don't do that. I mean, let's put those away. You don't need to do that. You don't want to smoke for your daughters.
Are you doing mental math in your head? You're like, 6 years. You look like you're 22, 60. How early were you smoking? That's where my brain goes.
Well, her oldest daughter was 6. So I think she probably quit smoking, when she
Look at you with all this information.
Well, she gave me, she told me, because the police made me ask her, all sorts of information.
when you were waiting?
When I was calling. Yeah, so I knew everything. I mean, I know the guy's name. I know his address. I know where everybody lives.
At what point do you flip for being worried for yourself, and do you become pseudo mom Deb?
Well, I texted, and it took a while.
Yeah, I would say it took another 20 to 30 minutes.
The police were in no hurry to get there, for sure.
Nope.
So finally one cop came up, and he pulled me aside first. But, I mean, I was talking right by her, and I just said, this is the way I felt about it. This could be a thing of everybody in that household has been abused, meaning she could have been an abuser and an abused person. I don't know, their history. Here's what I do know. Whether he pushed her or whether she fell, he drove away with her children in the car and never came back.
Bad dude.
So he never came back. I mean, that's all I need to know.
Right.
And that's what I said to the cop. I don't care if she was ranting and raving in the car and throwing a fit and having a complete and utter meltdown. You don't push her out of the car in front of her children.
You said, officer, I am a survivor of having barrel rolled out of a car where my friend didn't come back to me, so I can speak firsthand to this.
I did not say that.
Well, you missed an opportunity to plug the podcast.
Then another officer pulled up. So we've got 2 cop cars. Well, right before the first officer pulled up, a truck pulled up. And
like just a pickup truck?
Coming down that alley, a pickup truck with a man and woman in it.
And you've been here for 20 minutes at this point?
Yep.
Got it.
And they kind of start growling at her. And she gets up and goes over to the car. She's there for 2 seconds. She comes back. She goes, they think it's all my fault. And I said, who are they? And she said, that's his parents. So after she didn't show up at the house.
Because she got pushed out of a car.
Because she got pushed out of a car. He called his parents to go look for her.
What a little boy.
I don't know. To me, that just signals guilt, right?
Of course. Without question.
I mean, we want to know everybody's opinion on this, but if anybody says not guilty,
don't listen to this podcast anymore. Just kidding. Please do.
Yeah. So the cop came over to me and says, well, I mean, this kind of sounds like a thing like, this has gone round and round before. And I looked at the cop and I went, listen, she either fell or got pushed out of a car. I don't know which one because I didn't see it. The other woman here said she got pushed. She said she got pushed, but he sped off. That I did see. And he didn't come back. He sent his parents. Like, come on.
Right.
And now I know some people are going to say, but he had the girls with him. Well, what a great lesson if he would have taken those girls and said, we've got to go look for mommy. Daddy misbehaved. Do you know what I mean? Like, and go get them.
Right.
Go get her.
Totally.
But he didn't do that. He called his mom and dad, who immediately said it was her fault, right? Which is,
of course,
not okay as far as I'm concerned. So I said to the cop, they asked for my information and I gave it to him. And then I said, she needs to not go back to her house tonight.
At what point did you start assessing, did you become, Serpico Deb? And did you start assessing the situation and say, I need my opinion to be heard right now?
Because I felt like, she probably has some history too, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
And that was going to be used against her in this situation. And in this situation, it shouldn't be. I mean, you've got to take this situation for what it is.
Right.
And so, at least one of the children is not his and not his to take. And so, I mean, while we were waiting, I said, do you have family? Are you from here? Do you have somewhere to go? And she said, yes, I have a friends to go to, and I can go home to California to my mom's house. So it sounds like she has people, right? I mean, her worry is leaving the little one because the little one, he's the father.
Got it.
And apparently he has family support. We just saw that.
Got it.
So I did say, please make sure that she's somewhere safe tonight. Make sure that she's not there. And please promise me that you'll let her children be with her tonight. And he said, we will. I mean, who knows if that's true or not. Yeah. And then she said to me, thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Thank you for waiting for me. And I turned and I looked at her and I said, listen, you got to choose for yourself from now on. You can't choose for anybody else except you. All of your choices have to be for you and your daughters. And if you don't start doing that, this thing is just going to continue and continue and continue. And she said, I know. Thank you. And I left.
In that moment, I'm not a woman, but in that moment, as a woman, you look at her and you're like, please, God, just learn from me.
Yes, that's exactly. You just are like, let this be a moment between us. I mean, that is exactly how you feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, let this, please. I mean, go somewhere, go to your friend's house. I mean, and hopefully the people around her encourage her to get help, right? I mean,
obviously, super tragic in and of itself. Nobody should ever be pushed out of a car, let alone pushed out of a car in front of their kids, let alone have it happen during the holidays. That all just makes it infinitely worse. Fortunately for her, and she has no idea how grateful she should have been that Deb Zehner was on the prowl to help her.
So, do you think I should have put her in my car and taken her somewhere?
Where?
I know. I mean, I could have taken her to car or somewhere like that.
I mean, you could have, but
I couldn't figure out how to do that. Here's the reason I didn't do it. I couldn't because I felt like legitimately a crime had been committed, so the police needed to be involved.
Some kind of assault.
Also, too, I know what she would have said. Go by my house. I'm getting my kids. And I couldn't put myself in the middle of.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably went above and beyond, seeing as there was a woman who literally witnessed it and would look at you as like, it's all yours, homie. And you stayed there when you didn't have to, and you participated when you didn't have to, and you gave very sage and sound opinions when you didn't have to. Had I got a second text being like, hey, she's in the car, start getting dinner ready, I'd be like, oh, this is bad. We've turned a corner. I don't know that type of generosity would have been necessary.
There's a little piece of me that wants to do that. Of course. I mean, I have to say no to that voice. I mean, there was a piece of me that wanted to walk down the alley. I do have to say no.
I am your son, and there are pieces of me where I clearly don't see stuff like that all the time. But when I see little injustices like that, when I see, a lesser person of physical stature being taken advantage of, like, yeah, I want to puff my chest out and help them as well. But it's weighing the pros and cons, and I don't know that interjecting yourself into what is clearly a volatile relationship would have been the best way to handle any of that.
Well, I did come home and look him up on Facebook.
And that's what I was going to say. And because you are who you are, before I even saw you, you said, as I came downstairs, do you want to see what he looks like? And I said, of course I do. And you found him, and you found her, and you found the little kids. And now I'm able to perfectly picture that guy who, trust me when I say, looks like the type of guy who would push somebody out of a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
I got to witness the majesty that is that sweet dude.
Yeah. So what I hope for that girl is that she finally figured it out and went somewhere where she can get the love and support, that she needs, right? I mean, that's what I hope for that girl. But, I don't know.
Well, we wish her well.
We do wish her well. It was some kind of weird, simpatico, strange, because it was strange.
The fact that we have talked about this, dedicated, a third of a podcast to it, and have poked fun at it ever since then, and then you actually bore witness to something like that is just, I don't even know what that quantifies as. I'm sure somebody would just say, hey, it was just a coincidence, just life happens. But it's like, does it happen like that?
Full circle 50 years later. Right?
I mean, when you saw that, were you like, hey, I know what this is?
Yeah. No, like I did. It was weird. She rolled. She rolled. That's what happens when you fall out of a car.
You're like, but you kept your waistband on. I couldn't find mine the next day.
She had jeans on, so she was probably in better, It
would have been perfect if she looked at you and said, hey,
I lost my waistband.
Hey, I need to go to my friend's house. And you pulled up and it was just a raging party.
Oh, that would have been funny.
That would have been.
Yeah. But, where he was coming from Save Mart and then took that corner. So she really went right into the curb.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Thank God you were there. I couldn't think of a better person to be there for a young girl in need than you.
Oh, that's sweet, sweetie. I just think it would be too terrible for her to sit there or have to walk home to that house, kind of hat in hand. I mean, all that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
She had her phone in her hand. Her phone, I had my handbag. She had her phone, but her phone was dead. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Of course it was. I'm just kind of going to have you carry the show today because I don't know how we transition from a second person barrel rolling out of a car.
Well, I don't know. I gave her good customer service.
Hey,
you think?
Deb, segue. Yes, brilliant. I absolutely love that. How can you treat people better? A, don't push them out of cars.
Right.
B, if you do, go back and help them get back in the vehicle, secure their seatbelt, lock the door. You have an experience, again, from this week where Dad received less than stellar customer service. I, again, was privy to the conversation where Dad was telling you what happened to him. And I looked at you and I just thought, I had this conscious thought, these poor people. These poor people have no idea the wrath that is about to be brung on them via Deb Z. So please, again, regale us with this story.
So the story, the excuses that I will just lead with, the excuses that this fella used were all COVID-related excuses.
Sure.
Which, by the way, now that I've heard them, don't work for me. So for all the business owners and managers out there, don't use COVID as an excuse. It's here. We're living with it. And it is really, really hard. I mean, it's one thing if you decide to close your business, but if your business is going to be open, then you've got to accommodate.
The idea of having to combat COVID professionally is not new and novel. If you have done a inkling of work about how to better prepare your business during COVID, you are prepared to do so. The people that are struggling with it are clearly the people who have not even opened an article or read anything about best practices during this time.
Right. So this was Dad's oncology group. And I think in Reno, we only have one. It's a large one.
And it's not great.
But it's, not feeling good about it right now. And according to Yelp and Google, a lot of people aren't feeling good about it right now.
Trust this is a teaser because we're going to hear this again.
So, Dad is much in the patience department. I am much more patient than Dad overall.
When it comes to this household, yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. So, but Dad is remarkably patient when it comes to medical issues and medical people.
To a fault.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just be awful and he'll be as nice as can be, which I don't get that.
If you've ever watched The Sopranos, Junior Soprano gets diagnosed with some kind of cancer. And Junior Soprano is a mafia boss, and he takes no crap from anybody. He's hired hits on people, but he is such a... He gives all the authority to the doctor. He becomes this just secondary version of himself, the likes of which nobody understands. And it's very similar to that. I don't think Dad has hired hits on anybody that I'm aware of.
No, not that I'm aware of.
But Dad has a very strong personality. But when he darkens a medical door, it is whatever you guys need.
Yeah,
I'm here to help you. Help me. Whatever it is.
That's exactly how he is. So it makes him the nicest patient.
Oh, sure.
On the planet, right? I mean, I'm looking around just to see what I can catch if I'm irritable that day, right?
Yeah.
So he was supposed to go in for a quick little education thing, a little class thing they have. And he was excited. He was dressed for golf. He was going to go out to our golf course afterwards and, ride the back nine with his friend. He
wasn't actually going to golf. He was just going to spend time with his friends who were golfing.
Right. And he was excited. He hadn't been out there for a while. And of course, Dad has cancer. We're excited for Dad to do anything he wants to do. Right. And it was a nice day. So he got there and it's curbside check-in now. They left him for an hour in the car without checking back with him.
The windows rolled up.
Yeah, like a dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. And
nobody ever once texted, called, or came to his door to say, hey, this is going to take a little while longer.
Nope. He called again, I think at like 15 minutes. When it was 15 minutes, he'd waited. He called again. They said it'll be 15 minutes, and it ended up being an hour in total with nobody else checking. So he's annoyed. But again, he goes in and he's not crappy with anybody. I mean, I know how he is. So the girl that gets him and brings him in says, like, hey, how are you doing today? And he says, well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm heading out of the golf course. But I got to tell you, he says, leaving me in my car for an hour without anybody checking is a little bit of a trial. So he said it's super nice, super friendly. She never spoke to him the rest of the time.
Nice gal.
So he has a port, what they draw blood from and, put chemo in. And the port has to be, of course, he hasn't had chemo for a while, so the port has to be flushed. So he gets the port flushed at our local hospital. They're the ones that put it in. Now the girl is like, let's get your port flushed after this education class. And he's like, nope, I have an appointment at the hospital. No, let us do it. Let us do it today. And what he felt like was it was just like kind of a money grabbing thing.
Totally.
But he gave in to her because he does.
Right.
Because, so then now we've eaten out an hour of time. Then there was the educational thing. Now they're going to flush his port. And then this other girl says, we need to schedule you for your next chemo. Well, we had just talked to Stanford this week, and Stanford works with the group here. And chemo isn't going to be happen until mid-January. And he told her that. We talked to Stanford. Chemo won't happen till mid-January, but I want to get you on the calendar for next week. Nope, there won't be any chemo. He went through the whole thing. I don't have anything from Stanford, she said. He goes, well, then call over them. It was their referral.
Plus, I'm a human being. I get to say no to this. I am not beholden to you.
She puts it on the calendar to start chemo next week, which infuriated him, right?
Rightfully so.
So he leaves. He's out to, he's at the golf course for a fraction of the time, that the guys were done golfing.
And this is clearly a dark cloud over what should have otherwise been a really nice moment with he and his friends.
Right. So he walked in and he was upset. I mean, visibly upset. And, he was like, I'm in a funk. And, like he identified it. And I think we both felt bad for him, when he said it. And I said, I'm going to call them tomorrow. And
dun, dun, dun. And then the air got sucked out of the room and lightning cracked and poor people were marked for death.
So I called the next day, and you have to leave a message, which I left.
Yep.
And nobody called me back. So then I called the next day.
Which I wish, what I should have done is just driven my car down there and said, you guys have no idea what is coming for you. Return this damn phone call just to help yourself at this point.
Yep. And so then I called the next day, had to leave a message. Then at the end of the day, the second day, I did get a phone call back.
And at this point, you're just ready to start collecting ears and hang them around your necklace.
For sure. So I get the business manager that's in charge of all the operations. And he immediately launches into, the oncologist at the hospital quit. So we just got 500 new patients. And no. And I said, this sounds like your problem, not my problem. And he was like, well, but I mean, I've got 19 people out with COVID. And I said, that actually have COVID or that are working from home because they've been exposed. He goes, well, they're working from home. And I said, listen, I'd looked him up online, so I knew where he went to school.
Pause. At what point are you like, I'm not going to cripple him yet, but I'm just going to body him for a while?
I was just going to body him.
Got it.
So I mentioned his degree, his advanced degree that he has.
And how do you know that?
Because I looked him up.
There you go.
Yeah. And his advanced degree that he has. And I said, I mean, you've got an advanced degree. You're clearly a smart person, blah, blah, blah. However, I said, if you've got a limited staff, let me tell you what you say. And how is it that I know what to say? Because I also have I just kind of go down that road. And I say,
body shot, body shot, body shot, body shot.
So I say, you need to gather your people together every single morning. And the first thing you need to say is we're short-staffed. This is where it's going to be tough. We need to over-communicate with everybody. We have masks on. We need to look people in the eyes. We need to really make them feel like we're here for them. We need to run our butts off. I mean, I just kind of went through it all, right?
Yeah.
And I said, that's not happening. And if you're telling people to do that, it's not happening. I'm here to tell you it's not happening. And how else do you know I know it's not happening? Because all you have is 1 reviews on Yelp and on Google Review.
Knockout punch.
And so wouldn't you like a few 5s to offset those ones?
You need 5s.
You need 5s because nothing else is going to help. And I said, I got 3 1s in my house ready to post.
Oh, now we're threatening.
So
I'm being used in this. Oh my gosh.
So
this poor gentleman.
He says, I'm really sorry. Da 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 da. I mean, what can I do? And so I said, well, you can get control of your staff.
Do you like that question, or would you prefer?
Oh no, I like it.
Okay.
No, because I'll tell him. Yeah, no, for sure.
But would you rather he say, "What can I do," or would you rather he say, "Let me do this"?
No, he knew he wasn't going to win.
Got it.
So the perfect thing was to say, "What can I do?"
Got it.
Yeah. And
well, maybe that advanced degree did help him a little bit.
Maybe it did, yeah. And so I said, I want you to call my husband. Here's his cell phone. I want you to profusely and profoundly apologize, for his experience that he had. I said, I want you to cancel that chemo date because he's not keeping it.
Right.
I want you to go to the girl that insisted that she flushed the port and say it looked like a money-grabbing thing. I want you to go to the nurse that scheduled the chemo and tell her, call Stanford and get the papers, right? Get we were there most recently, right? That conversation. And I said, if we have to go to Stanford, we will. I would prefer to not have to drive, 4 hours.
Over the mountains in the winter months.
In the wintertime. But if you don't think you can accommodate him, I will. And I said, my husband is a very early riser. I want all of his appointments to be your first appointment of the day from now on so that we don't get caught up in this thing that happens, because the truth is I don't have any faith that it's going to change.
Well, no, they have 500 new patients.
Right. He has 500 new patients. And so he said he and the doctor would call Dad.
What date did he commit to?
I think on Monday. This Monday. They'll do it.
Got it.
Yep. And he said he would cancel the other appointments, and he said he would get the paperwork from Stanford. And I said, then I'll see if my husband if that remedies it for him. Do you know what I mean? If he's happy with that. And
by this point, Dad had already forgot everything.
Yeah. I did say to Dad, I looked at Dad and I said, I'm a little bit aggravated. I might enjoy this call. And he looked at me and smiled. He was ready to have somebody go to battle.
Deb, I knew this call wasn't about Dad. You were going to get your pound of flesh in a time where you needed meat, and these people were going to be providing it.
Well, I mean, when he said to me, I've got 19 people out with COVID, I said, I've got a husband with cancer. Like, beat that. Is that what we're going to do? We're going to trump each other's tough situation.
We can keep playing here, but I'm going to always play the cancer card, and you're always going to lose.
Play the cancer card, and we're going to win.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
Yep.
And I said, when somebody has cancer, I said, no matter what stage, no matter what, the diagnosis is, what the prognosis is, they're thinking that there is the possibility that their life is going to be shorter than they thought it was going to be. And he goes, well, of course. And I said, so let's not use their time or misuse their time. In this case, my husband could have been out at the golf course with his buddies. And instead, he was in your office, arguing with a bunch of girls who were doing things that they really had no business doing.
Right.
And all they would have had to say is, great, keep your appointment at the hospital for the flush. And hey, we'll get a hold of those papers from Stanford and we'll call you and schedule something.
Yep.
Right?
That's over and done.
All they would have had to do. So
let me ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody listening can agree that they clearly botched it, and you came to the table with the exact right marching orders for them. Whether they ever get implemented, who knows? So let's keep it business focused first, and then I want some Debism on it, okay? What if they called you tomorrow and said, hey, we heard that recording of the phone call. You ran him up and down the wall, rightfully so. We need you to come in here and get us through these next 3 months, which we all know are going to be brutal for the medical industry.
Right.
what are 1, 2, 3, 4, however many things that you would look at them and say, I don't even need to come in. This is all you need to do to get your stuff, to get your house organized.
So I did read most of the bad reviews.
You read the reviews.
Right.
To him or to yourself?
No, to myself.
Okay.
And 2 of the reviews really circle around 2 docs. Okay. So I think there's, 6 or 7 doctors, maybe more in this group.
Got
it's
it.
big. So the first thing I would say is those names can't be mentioned over and over and over again without people and kind of different issues, right? And so the first thing I would say is, I think it all starts from the top, right? I think that doctors who are, and we know this from our time in Seattle, doctors who are treating cancer are a unique group, and they have to be. And I understand that they can't be, mushy, weird feelings about everything that goes on. But I do think they have to respect the family, the patient, the time management piece of it.
But they're dealing with human beings that literally want to be anywhere other than there.
When we were in Seattle, we never, ever waited more than 5 minutes to get put into a room, and never waited more than 5 minutes in the room. It was just a well-oiled machine. It was beautiful. And because it was a well-oiled machine, everybody was pleasant,
right,
because they all knew their own dance, that they were supposed to do. So the first thing I would say is, this guy, this business manager, and whoever, the managers are in the office, and the docs have got to get on the same page, because they should be very concerned. Right now they can say, hey, we're the only game in town. Right now, their average score, I think, is 2.4. That is not very good.
Very bad for a profession who's trying to save lives.
Exactly. Who wants to go to the 2.4 guy? You
right.
want to go to the 5.0 guy. And so, and by the way, I don't know if they took it down, but the guy that Dad sees wrote his own 5-star review of himself with his own name on it.
Smart.
Which is like, and I told the guy, get that down. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So I think the first thing is starting at the top and really telling them this stuff matters. You're garnering a very bad reputation in the community, right?
Yep.
And what's going to happen is the people that are going to stay and work with them are the people that don't have choices.
Right.
And the people that don't have choices, it's going to end up making their reputation look even worse, right? Because they're not people that can go somewhere that either have the means or just don't know how to advocate. Maybe do have the means, but don't understand how you advocate for a family member, how you advocate for yourself, because they should also be advocating for the patients, right?
Totally.
And so, I think part of it is their culture. I think part of it is something's wrong at the top. I think there are a couple of really good doctors in there, and that shows on the Google reviews as well. But I think, if they asked me to do it, I'd go there in a heartbeat. And yeah,
so then
it would take longer than 3 months, by the way.
Right, but if they were asking you to just get them through this debacle, which
Mm-hmm.
is getting this abundance of new patients and dealing with people that are out and, trying to maintain the norm.
He's just bringing bodies in right now. That's what he's doing.
Sure.
He is just, I could tell by the way he talked about it. He's all of the things that we should know, the way we should hire, the really expertise that we apply in choosing, he's not doing. In fact, I said to him, there are tons of temp agencies, which nobody wants to hire because they're expensive. But you can hire temp agencies to get the people in to get you through, right? That are trained to do all the MA stuff and the check-in stuff and all of that kind of, even nurses. So go fill your staff and then take the time because there should be a penalty right now for them. And the penalty right now is money, but then get the right people in there.
So I know I'm going to ask a question that I know people who are listening to want the answer to.
Yeah.
How much of this is thought out prior to this conversation? Do you have a list that you're like, and I'm going to address this, and I'm going to address this, and I'm going to ask for this, and I'm going to demand this? Or is it all in the moment for you?
Generally thought out, but I'm willing to go anywhere in the moment.
So how much of it is, I'm going to ask that somebody apologize. But if I don't get the answers I'm looking for, I'm now going to ask for much more.
Oh, I'm for sure that person.
But is that in the moment?
Yeah, that's in the moment.
You don't have a list of, you don't have like, these are the 2 items I'm going to ask for. If they're not met, then these are the 5 items I'm going to ask for.
So the thing I didn't think of ahead of time was to put Dad early in the day. That just came to me in the moment.
Got it.
Okay. Honestly, I didn't think about having him call Dad and apologize. I didn't think about that. But the reason I asked for that is because we couldn't get past the excuse making. So now I needed to bring some kind of action to the table where he had to do something, right?
Right.
He suggested the other doctor be on the call, which was fine with me. You know, that part was okay. No, but I will ask for more. I mean, if that's like put in my husband, and I said to him, listen, if I can make a difference for all your patients by having this phone call, I'm happy to do that. But here's the truth.
Joan of Arc.
I care about my husband. That's who I care about. And I care about his time and his energy and how he's treated. And this is not okay. And so I don't care if they don't take care of everybody else. I mean, I do care. Philosophically, I care. And I think it's wrong. And I won't darken their door ever again if I have the choice. But what I really care is that they put some kind, we've been through this before with Dad, some kind of VIP thing on Dad and treat him right.
So put a nice bow on this in general, as opposed to for Dad, who clearly is going to get what he needed from this. But how can other people apply this to their business and this to their life? So
if you're that business that is making excuses, nobody wants to hear your problems, not a customer.
Never.
And like, especially in medical care, I mean, whether I guess I'm buying a dress or, it's medical, I'm giving you money. I'm giving you good money.
Right.
I want service. That's what I want. And if there really is something out of your control, then it's your job to explain that thing, not in an excuse-making way, but to explain it and then in the same breath offer resolution. That's when that explanation is accepted. But when you just say it and let it hang out there, it's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Right.
I mean, do you want me to come in at 8 o'clock every morning and have a morning huddle with your folks and try to get them pumped up to be nice and great and whatever? I mean, right?
Is the excuse just to appease you? I mean, I guess I never really understood like an excuse. Like the excuse is just not to take ownership over something. I understand that.
I think that's all it is. And I think he felt by he kept saying 19, like, well, I don't know if 19 is a big number there
maybe you
or
have
not.
100 employees. That doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. I mean, for Amazon, 19 employees is nothing, right? I mean, for this little tiny dry cleaners on the corner, it's a lot.
Right.
But nonetheless, if you shouldn't be seeing patients, and this was the middle of the day. This wasn't the end of the day. In the middle of the day, they were an hour behind already.
Right.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, tell the guy to reschedule him, right?
Yep.
And I mean, so I think like you give people choices. If somebody really gets that far behind, then I think what you owe them is people checking on them to give them the choice. I mean, so that a girl walks out there, with her mask, with her iPad and says, Mr. Zener, we are so far. One of the doctors kind of had a quasi-emergency today and we are so far back. Do you want to wait or do you want to reschedule because I've got an opening the beginning of next week? Right. And so, I mean, how hard is that? Not. Yeah. But it's really hard if you're looking forward to next week and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel because your place is such a mess.
True.
And I think at one point he said to me, if you want to go to Stanford, maybe you should. And I didn't feel like I didn't feel like it was calling my bluff.
Yeah.
I felt like
he was giving you some insight.
Giving me inside information. And I wanted to say if it wasn't winter, I would.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Deb, like I said, if you get pushed out of a car, you're lucky to have you. If you get married to you, you're lucky to have you.
Well, here's the thing I just want to say to everybody out there. Like the medical thing I have got down, I will, for anybody that I know and care about, for sure. Like I will be in their corner. One of my girlfriends said to me, oh my God, if I got sick, you'd be the first person I'd call. Because nobody is going to abuse a sick person that I care about.
And if we don't know you, we will do the same thing just for a nominal fee.
For a nominal fee.
I'll
be your advocate.
We will be your advocate via phone and we will dress down everybody.
And we will take charge of all your records. We will know more than they will know in the end.
This exchange would normally heighten people's blood pressure.
Right.
I think you came dangerously close to having like the best heart rate ever.
Oh, so much satisfaction when I was done.
Absolutely.
I was really like, all my anxiety poured out.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
And
for
you actually gave me a really good tip because when Dad,
well, I need to say this. When you are similar to me, when you get really emotional, you're like, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say this. And whenever I'm calm, I'm like, Deb, of course I'm never going to say those things. But in the moment when I'm upset, I need to say that for myself to understand that I'm actually not going to say that. So you had that moment. And you're like, he's going to answer the phone. I'm going to be like, do you want another 1-star review? And I was like, maybe we don't lead with that. Maybe we use that as the exclamation point at the end, which I think carried far more weight.
The way it was, number one, it was great advice because I was so hot.
So hot under the collar.
And number two, it ended up being that I did exactly what you said. I was able just to toss it in as one of those zing.
Right.
When we played Dungeons and Dragons, what was that thing you gave me? That power?
Firebolt?
It was like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People are either cringing or loving this right now.
I don't know which, but
hey, like I said, no better person to have in your corner than Debsy if you need somebody to take ownership over their bad behavior.
And seriously, if people really are, if a business is just strapped, you have to explain that to people. People can hear that. People can hear, oh my gosh, my whole staff is out. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be slower today. I mean, and you know what? If you know your whole staff is out, go in and amend the schedule, right? I mean, if they're supposed to be 15 minutes appointments, make them a half-hour appointments or whatever, but don't leave people just hanging out there. Take care of them.
That seems so obvious to me. Yeah, obviously people struggle with that. Okay, phenomenal. I think we should just start a Deb tells stories about her life where you just absolutely hammer people in this regard. I think that would be must-see podcast.
If anybody wants somebody hammered, I mean, they can give us a situation and I will.
I wasn't kidding when I said DM us and Deb will go after them.
Yeah.
We're all cooped up in the house. We need to let off some steam. Would you rathers, Christmas themes. I just want to keep doing this. It just fills my heart because there is no right or wrong answer. We talk through this. You at home may or may not disagree with us, but hopefully as we're talking through it, you're either saying yes, 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 or no, no, no. I just adore these.
Okay.
So here's my first would you rather.
All right.
I came up with this off the top of my head. The other ones that I found online are really good too.
Okay.
Christmas again. We're keeping it Christmas themed.
Christmas edition, right?
Christmas edition for the month of December.
Yes.
Would you rather, with every meal, have your only beverage of choice be eggnog? Okay?
Yeah.
Or after every time you eat, you have to consume a candy cane, a normal-sized candy cane. So here your options are. Every time you eat, if you drink anything, it has to be eggnog.
Okay.
Or every time you eat, regardless of a snack or a meal, you have to finish it with a full-sized candy cane.
A couple of questions.
Of course.
The eggnog, does it have liquor in it?
If you want liquor in it, sure.
How big of a glass is it?
Well, I mean, you're drinking because you're thirsty. So in theory, I could give you an entire pitcher and you could only drink a couple sips, but you could be really, I mean, like assume you're eating some spicy cioppino or something like that. You need to cool your mouth. The dairy's going to do that, but it's going to be eggnog.
Got to go with the candy cane.
You're going to eat a candy cane? I mean, Deb, what if you just randomly grab a chip out and you're like, oh my God.
Oh, no, you said meals.
No, I said meals or snack. Whenever you consume something, you simultaneously have to consume a candy cane.
I think this is the best qualifier for the best diet in the world.
What?
I'm just going to eat one meal a day. That's it. And I'm going to have a candy cane afterwards.
No chance.
Yes.
You think you can... So when are you going to play that out for me? You think you can cheat the system by eating a time a day, a single time a day?
I'm going to become a intermittent faster
for a meal
a day. Well, wait a minute.
You're trying to game the system and it's not working because that's not sustainable. You can't possibly do that. A
glass of it, like so.
You don't have to drink the eggnog. It's just there in case you need to drink something. But it's going to be that eggnog.
Okay. I could do the eggnog.
Okay.
But I probably wouldn't drink much.
So you're going
It's
to
a
choose the
lot.
eggnog.
Do you know how like phlegmy you would be?
Oh, no, I know. I've had eggnog. I am very aware of how phlegmy you would be.
And I probably would put alcohol in it after noon.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to.
Spice it up a little bit?
Dilute it a little
So
bit.
not only would you be like pre-diabetic afterwards, you'd have to go to Betty Ford Clinic too. I don't know.
You could do the candy cane easy.
I could, but I mean, I would still have to have 3 meals every day, right? Because I do intermittent fast. So I have 3 meals every day between the hours of 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. That would be...
After your ice cream bar at night, do you have to have candy cane?
Yes, because it's a separate thing that didn't come with the meal. So that would be, let's just say conservatively, 3 candy canes a day. There are 31 days in December.
But think
93 candy canes.
You would never be able to drink eggnog ever again.
Uncle Walt never drank any beverages with his meals.
I know, he didn't. That was weird, wasn't it?
And so what I would say is, yeah, I mean, the eggnog thing is brutal.
The eggnog, that's a good one. It's a hard either or.
Yeah.
I would love for people to tell us what they think.
See, that was a good one.
That's like saying have a milkshake with every meal. Where we all love a milkshake, right?
I mean, I think I would say somebody would maybe last 10 days before the smell of eggnog.
It would kill you.
Yeah.
It would kill you.
But who the hell is going to eat 93 candy canes?
I know, but candy canes they're just sugar.
Right. But like nobody like thoroughly enjoys eating candy.
No.
Nobody's like, I can't wait for Christmas. I'm going to eat my weight in candy canes.
The candy canes that we have out there in the little silver thing have probably been there for 5 years. I've recycled.
Nobody's ever touched them.
And they look like brand new candy canes.
Nobody's ever felt the need to touch them.
Exactly.
I kind of want to now, but so.
Okay, I'm going to go, if I don't have to drink it, I'm going to go with eggnog and I'm going to just have to pull an Uncle Walt and hardly drink any.
I'm just going to serve you spicy food the entire
Okay.
month. Would you rather relive a past holiday experience?
Yes.
So like a Christmas day. Mm-hmm. Or would you rather travel to a future holiday experience? So would you rather go to a previous Christmas? I mean, we're just going to say Christmas. Would you rather go to a Christmas that you've already experienced and get to relive it? Mm-hmm. Or would you rather see what a future Christmas experience is like?
I get to pick the past one, right? Which one?
It's your favorite one. Yeah. I mean, hopefully you're not picking the one that Santa gave you coal.
Yeah.
But then you get a glimpse into the future. You're trading the unknown for a well-known emotion of joy.
I know, but you know what? Like if I choose a past one.
Getting really NPR-y with our voices right now.
You wouldn't necessarily be there.
That's okay.
But Aunt Ginny and Uncle Walt and my mom would be.
Right. But what if there's an adult Kevin with a wife and children?
Well, I'm going to meet them anyways, aren't I?
I don't know.
What are you saying?
I mean, I'm not putting any time frame on this. What if I said, I want to go to the 2060 Christmas of Kevin's?
Well, I'm dead then.
Exactly. You get to see it. This is way better than I thought it was going to be, this question.
Well, I get to pick either way.
Of course. Yeah, that's your choice. Would you rather?
If I were to pick, I'm going to clearly pick when I'm alive. Either way.
You want to go witness yourself witnessing a Christmas.
Exactly.
In theory, it could be the worst Christmas, but you have no idea because it's in the future.
I don't have any idea in the future.
Got it.
Right? So, gosh, Kev, that's really hard.
I know.
Because I would want to see your wife and I would want to see your children.
Me too.
Right.
Sure. But here's the other thing. What if it's just me? Yeah. What if it's just me? What if it's me and some sad dog and I've just got Stofers in the oven?
Here's literally the last time we did this, Haley and Alyssa and Jill and Parker and Amy Chan, everybody said, if you leave, Kevin will not be alone.
What if I just turned into a terrible person and I was no longer friends with any of them?
Then I'm going to go back and see my mom and Aunt Ginny and Uncle Walt.
So I think the future thing is boom or bust.
Yeah,
you are either going to just be tears streaming the entire time.
Like what if you were married and had children and your wife said she was leaving you on Christmas Eve? That'd be horrible.
Right? That'd be a bad one.
But it would be good that I showed up.
I don't think if it's in the future. Oh, here's another weird side thing. What if you picked something that you're like, well, I'm clearly going to be alive, and you weren't there? Oh man, this is a good TV show premise.
That'd be a good show. Yeah,
I'd watch that.
I'm going back. I'm going back.
Yeah, the safe thing.
Yeah,
I think you have to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know that you can. I mean, like you said, it's like I said, it's the ultimate boomer bust moment. And do you really want to roll the dice? Because that's way more than just Christmas. You're getting a glimpse into a life, and you have no context for it.
Right. I'm going to go back.
That's good. Okay, let me look.
A little firmer on that than the candy cane and the eggnog.
I mean, both are really tough.
Yeah. These are good, Kev.
Thank you. Well, this was from the World Wide Web. Oh, here's a good one. Would you rather be a kid on Christmas or a parent on Christmas? I don't know if this is going to be a good one because I've only ever known one side.
Well, part of the reason that I picked going back was because I thought
I hated Kevin so much.
No. It would be so cool to be a kid, but with kind of the information that you have now. Do you see what I mean? Like if you could live like
really being really present in the moment.
Right. Like that would, if that were the thing, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
And it would also be like, I mean, just be grounded. Like you think of all the things a mom does for a kid. I mean, for the kid to really be like in that moment, grateful and sweet. I have to say that from the time that I had you, I have always said Christmases have been the best. I mean,
because of me?
But yeah, a lot because of you.
That's right.
And I mean, I think that like it's much more fun to buy stuff and create a fun Christmas for a child. And
Fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like the giving and creating little, especially when they're young and they really believe in all the magic of Christmas. You know, all of that part is like amazing. I mean, we still try to do ridiculous things for you to make it fun.
Very true.
As long as you're like unmarried, I guess we'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop you even if I do get married.
Yeah. Scavenger hunts.
It might be weird to put a adult male who's married with children on scavenger hunts while the kids wait around.
No, you are going to fall to the bottom of the pile when that happens.
That makes sense.
Yeah. For me, I mean, for me, it's, you know, being a parent for sure.
Would you rather only be able to listen to Christmas music for the holiday season and not watch any Christmas movies? Or would you rather watch Christmas movies but never hear any Christmas music?
Christmas music, 100%.
Never. You love watching White Christmas.
I do love it.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it is.
Like you cry at that still.
I cry at it. I love it. But if I had to pick the Christmas music in the car, in the stores, in the house, I love it.
What other movies would you miss? I mean, you wouldn't get to watch Home Alone. Not that you watched that.
Don't care about that. Don't care about that stupid one with the leg lamp.
Oh, yeah. What's that? That one that plays every day on Christmas. I'll think of it. You wouldn't get to watch It's a Wonderful Life. You wouldn't get to watch.
I like It's a Wonderful Life, but I could forgo them for 1 year and just listen to music. Interesting.
I think I would probably choose music too, just because it's so diverse and, you know, it's very, it's not active participation.
Well, and we don't have, I think if you were a little kid, I might make a different choice, but yeah, because we'd watch them together and have fun.
What are you going to watch on Christmas?
I'm going to put Christmas music on and not watch that stupid movie with the leg lamp.
Were you just going to stare at each other?
No, we're going to open presents and eat.
Deb, we go slow. We have brunch. We open presents. We break.
Yeah.
We continue to open presents.
And then I feel, aren't sports on after that?
No, sports are usually on before that. And then we try to find a Christmas thing.
Yeah. It'll be music this year.
Music and
eggnog.
Fortunately, we don't have to execute on any of these things.
Music and eggnog.
Music and eggnog, no candy canes. Okay, great. I love it. I think that's great. I think those are wonderful choices. This is a wonderful game. I'm never not playing this game. We're only ever playing this game.
Good.
This is just going to turn into the Deb and Kev Would You Rather podcast.
Oh, perfect.
As we wind down.
Yes.
Besides the hide of the man who you killed and murdered and is now hanging on our wall. What are you thankful for this week?
Oh, that poor guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a televideo with a doctor from Stanford, and they were just the opposite of this group.
True.
They were engaged and fabulous and informative and candid and everything that you would want and well organized. And the doctor was a little bit late, and the PA came on and did her thing and then said, why don't you folks hang up? It's going to be about 15 minutes. Leave the screen or just go away, leave the screen open and the doctor will be here. I mean, kept us well informed.
Sure.
So I am very grateful that Stanford is an option for us and that we actually have that doctor guiding Daddy's treatment. And if the worst that happens is we have to go to Palo Alto, then that's what we do.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's
super
great. Thankful. I'm super thankful for a very selfish thing. Last night, a good friend of mine, he's played D&D with us before. If you guys thought you were never going to hear about D&D again, just kidding. And he was, I think everybody is skeptical when they first started. He played once and he absolutely adored it. And he had said at some point in time, I'd love to do, be the DM, Kevin, you make it look so easy. I don't know if you ever said that.
Tell everybody what the DM is.
Dungeon Master, the one who essentially puts the game together. He said, Kevin, you're so good at it. Kevin, you make it look so effortless. Kevin, if they gave awards, you would be, sweep all the,
nice.
Sweep everything. Like you're God's gift to DMing. I said, I know. And he, unbeknownst to me, had done enough homework and has decided that he is now going to be a DM. And for the first time in years, I get to actually play the game as a player, not someone who's balancing different non-party characters or the narrative to the story or having to do different accents or all these things. I get to play. And that is so much fun to look forward to.
So you're excited?
Beyond.
So do you guys have a date?
I think after Christmas. I think Christmas is on a Friday or a Thursday. So the following Saturday.
Will you be adding new people to your group? There's a couple
think
that are
so.
gone. You think?
We will be. A friend has moved back to town, and he's a big D&D enthusiast, but it'll be the majority of the same players.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, fun. Good for you.
It was
an early Christmas present.
1,000%.
Really nice.
I don't care if you get me anything this year. The idea that I get to actually play and not have to DM is
wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That was the end of Nerd Minute with Kevin. All right. Everybody knows. Deb, what are we eating tonight?
So there's an Indian dish that we all love, and
Yes.
we're going to try to make it ourselves.
Yes.
It's called butter chicken.
Buttered chicken.
And
I don't know if it's butter or buttered.
I think it's butter.
Butter.
That's what I think, chicken.
Which is ironic because there's really not any butter in it.
No, but we love it. But we've loved it from restaurants. So
I introduced this dish to you earlier this year. Like everybody, we just got really, really tired of eating the same thing.
Right.
And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I love Indian food. We have really decent, if not good, Indian food restaurants here. Let's just break the monotony of what we're eating. And we've thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's expensive. So
Yeah.
I thought, well, if we can make something close, let's do that. And so we are going to take that adventure together.
Yep.
And see what we can actually produce.
I don't think it's that hard, but we'll post our pictures. And
when I see ingredients like kasuri methi, which is a plant fenugreek, that worries me a little bit.
Fenugreek.
Right.
Yeah. Like, where is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Whole Foods is the only place we could possibly think to get it, right?
Well, no, that's where we got it. That's where I look at those ingredients and I think to myself, maybe we're a little in over our heads.
But here's the thing about the fenugreek that we figured out.
Got to soak it.
It's like a rock.
Yeah.
The seed is like a rock.
Yep.
It has to soak for 24 hours.
Like beans.
Like beans, but it's a little tiny rock.
Oh, no. This thing is it looks like a little BB.
Then you have to drain them. Then you toast them.
Right.
And they pop.
Right.
Then
like a little corn kernel.
Yep. And then you grind them.
Grind them.
Yep. So we have it. We did it. We figured it out.
We have it. We did it. We'll let you know if a bunch of white Suburbans can cook Indian food.
Yeah. We'll see how we do.
Very excited
Win the
about
Curry
that.
Award.
I'll just put it next to all my DM awards.
Oh, I like that.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week on the Monday episode of the Deb and Kev podcast. Make sure you follow us on all of our social channels and like, rate, and review wherever you listen to us. And you can see this episode on our YouTube channel. Everything is at Deb and Kev Pod.
Are there still only 3 or 4 people on the YouTube channel?
I don't know. I think the last video got 7, not to brag. I mean,
okay, all right.
Pretty much doubled our viewer counts.
We'll go
whatever.
with that.
Guys, have a wonderful week. Mom, I love you to death.
I love you, baby.
We'll see you all on Thursday.
Thank you for listening to the Deb and Kev podcast. Remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. Follow Deb and Kev on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter at Deb and Kev Pod.